Now this is all. Let me make sure everything's in focus. What's good? How your day going? Morning, evening, night. This is gonna be a good one. So there's a freaking part 2 when stupidity goes wrong. Part 2. By that will kill you. I ain't got much to say. Let me get this blue off of me too. My bad. I be trying to get shit perfect too much. I gotta stop doing that. But either way I go though. So there's a part 2 and looking at the thumbnail because you know I gotta do it. I just gotta judge a little bit. So it look like bro in church. I don't think that's a rattlesnake, dog. I don't know what he doing to her mouth. And them shoes weak. But look, we ain't hear about that, dog. Look, check out the original video. Link will be in the description below. But let's go. This one look crazy, dog.
Number 12. Jamie Cootes. Jamie Cootes was a 42-year-old snake-handling pastor who died in 2014 from a rattlesnake bite incurred during a church service at the Full Gospel Tabernacle in Jesus' Name Church in Middlesboro, Kentucky. Cootes was an experienced snake handler who'd been handling snakes for nearly 20 years when he was bitten for the 9th and final time. Cootes had gained some notability after he was featured in National Geographic Channel's reality show Snake Salvation, which documented the lives of people who practice snake handling. Cootes' religious conviction was based on a passage in Mark's Gospel which reads, "They shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover." Fellow preacher Cody Wynn told the news station that he had one of the rattlers in his hand. It just turned its head and bit him in the back of the hand within a second. Cootes might have survived had his relatives not refused medical treatment for him, saying it was inconsistent with his religion. A year later, in an event that much reminded people of Cootes' incident, a snake-handling pastor in Pretoria.
That's a snake in her mouth? My bad, calm down.
That much reminded people of Cootes' incident, a snake-handling pastor in Pretoria, South Africa, reportedly died. Penwell Mnguni claimed he could turn snakes into chocolate and was feeding them to his congregants, along with rats and toilet paper. According to various news reports, he too was bitten by one of his own snakes, a cobra, and he too refused.
If he told you that snake was chocolate and tried to make you eat it, and you legit believed it and was about to eat it, then you got what you got. What kind of shit is this, dog?
Who was bitten by one of his own snakes, a cobra, and he too refused treatment, succumbing to his injuries not long after. In true miraculous fashion, Mnguni turned out to be alive still after all and was last reported feeding frogs, worms, octopi, and dog meat and blood to his congregants. Number 11. Eric Barcia.
We go past octopus around. Stop playing. Why do they want to get the fuck about this church? Sorry. Brother Charles, what you... I got 8 before I got here, dog. Stop playing, I'm done. Alright, no, for real, stop playing, dog. I don't get it, and I understand. There's nothing we can do to ever fully understand everyone's brain. Like, it's just not the same. Some people are real gullible like that. Like, oh, you might be right, but hey. Hey, and I get it. Your beliefs is your beliefs. If you saw that and you believed it, I'm not judging on that. Because like I said, we're different.
Number 11. Eric Barcia. In the late 1990s, Virginia man Eric Barcia died in an accident involving a homemade bungee rope. Instead of using a factory-produced shock cord, the 22-year-old fast food worker taped together a number of elastic ropes. The stretchy strands, which typically have hooks at their ends, are normally used to secure objects. Not only was his contraption extremely unsafe, but Barcia also critically miscalculated the length of rope that he needed before going on a railroad trestle at Lake Okoting Park in Fairfax County.
Wow.
Barcia tied one end to his foot and anchored the other to the trestle. He then jumped 70 feet, or about twice the height of a telephone pole, towards the pavement below. Since the length of his homemade cord exceeded the distance he traveled towards the ground, Barcia struck the pavement and died on the spot. Number 10.
I thought he was gonna say he didn't have enough, as in like he stopped short.
Cedric Jelks. In 2017, Florida man Cedric Jelks faced firearm possession charges.
And low key, because I wanted to see if it was gonna work though. Because you talk about the ones that people use and they be like, when you buy mattresses and shit, and you put it on top of the car, so you strap like them kind of cords. I be forgetting what they call it. Damn.
Number 10. Cedric Jelks. In 2017, Florida man Cedric Jelks faced firearm possession charges after accidentally sitting on his gun. As 38-year-old Jelks got into his car, he forgot that his weapon was on the driver's seat. He unwittingly sat on the firearm, which had been left armed and without a safety on. It discharged, shooting him in the manhood. The incident reportedly occurred outside of his girlfriend's home. Jelks, who was left in agony, rushed into the bathroom, holding his groin, and his girlfriend then drove him to the hospital. He survived, but no updates were released regarding his condition, and it isn't known if he retained the functionality of his privates. Jelks' accident also had severe legal implications, as he'd been convicted of a cocaine-related crime in 2004. As a felon, it was illegal for him to own a gun, meaning that aside from excruciating pain, he also faced
They actually was doing you a favor right there, saying it was illegal for you to own a gun. They really were. My bad, I had to resync everything.
It was illegal for him to own a gun, meaning that aside from excruciating pain, he also faced time in prison. Number 9. Gary Hoy. On July the 9th of 1993, Toronto lawyer Gary Hoy fell to his death from the 24th floor of his office building. Hoy was given a tour to a group of students and decided to show them a stunt he'd reportedly tried many times before. The 38-year-old told them that the windows of the Toronto Dominion Center were unbreakable, and to prove it, slammed his body against the glass. Like with Hoy's previous demonstrations, the glass didn't break, but unfortunately, he didn't bounce back to safety either. The impact was strong enough to pop the window out of its frame, and Hoy plummeted to his death. A structural engineer who commented on the case for a local...
And the fucked up part is his point was still proven, because he said the shit was unbreakable, at least until it hit the ground. But you know what I mean? I'd have been pissed. I'd do this. And why would you do that all the time to show people like that's too high up? That's no.
Local media outlet claimed that he'd never heard of a building code that would allow a 160-pound or 72.5-kilogram man to run up against a glass and withstand it. Number 8. Sigurd Eysteinsson. Sigurd Eysteinsson was a 9th century Viking ruler who played a leading role in the conquest of what would later become northern Scotland. He expanded his territory from the islands of Orkney and Shetland into the mainland, and his military exploits led to him being known as Sigurd the Mighty. Towards the end of his reign, he challenged rival Mael Brigti the Bucktooth to battle. They agreed to each bring only 40 men to the confrontation. Sigurd, however, would treacherously come with double the amount of warriors. Mael Brigti was defeated and decapitated, with Sigurd attaching his severed head to his saddle as a trophy. Even though he triumphed over his rival, Sigurd's hubris would echo through the ages. As he rode, Mael Brigti's Bucktooth caught him on the leg. The wound became infected and ultimately led to Sigurd's death.
Here's a question.
It sounds familiar.
What is the one business that, if stopped, the entire world would come to a screeching halt? I'm talking schools, hospitals, libraries.
Number 7. The wound became infected and ultimately led to Sigurd's death. Number 7. Bojan Birch. Croatian man Bojan Birch had spent 5 years behind bars in the city of Pula before an additional 8 months were added to his sentence for sending death letters to an ex-girlfriend. About 2 months before he was scheduled to be released, his behavior became increasingly more erratic, to the point that the guards decided to lock him in a rubber-padded cell. Even though he was in solitary confinement with both hands tied behind his back, Barcia managed to pull out a lighter that he'd smuggled inside. He started a fire near the door, presumably in protest, or so that he'd be relocated to a regular cell. Security cameras captured the moment that the fire consumed the highly flammable materials. Before the guards noticed the smoke coming out of the cell, it was already too late. Some reports claimed that they'd purposefully delayed their intervention in order to teach Barcia a lesson. Whatever the case might have been, the blaze rapidly extended and they could no longer enter the cell. Barcia succumbed to smoke inhalation and his body was consumed by the flames. Number 6. Tetsu Shiohara. In late October of 2019, a Japanese man took on Mount Fuji outside of the regular climbing season and with minimal equipment. 47-year-old Tetsu Shiohara live-streamed his ill-fated adventure on Japan's tallest mountain. Climbing Mount Fuji is only permitted during the summer, when the snow melts and the huts are open. Shiohara had been on the mountain several times before, but trekking it outside of the warm months is considered extremely dangerous.
I ain't gonna lie, that mug is, that view, if that's legit, like real, that shit's so beautiful, dog. Man, I could legit just stand outside to stare at that shit. Just hit the weed, staring at that buff. That's, oh man. I ain't gonna lie though, that's beautiful, dog.
Before, but trekking it outside of the warm months is considered extremely dangerous. In terms of preparedness for the treacherous slopes, Shiohara wasn't wearing crampons and had little else aside from a pair of hiking poles. He'd named his livestream "Let's Go to Snowy Mount Fuji," and a number of commenters online argued that the title itself denoted the level of ignorance with which he approached the climb. At one point, Shiohara claimed that his fingers had gone numb and expressed regrets at not having brought heat packs. Nevertheless, he prioritized filming instead of personal safety and kept heading towards the summit. After a grueling trek, Shiohara was only a few dozen feet from the top. The man passed the safety fence and then told his viewers that he'd reached a dangerous portion. Moments later, he started slipping, feet first, towards the clouds below. Shiohara failed to regain his footing and kept tumbling down the side of the mountain while his phone was still recording. His lifeless body was discovered a few days later at an altitude of around 10,000 feet. Number 5. Dean Smith. In June of 2016, an Australian man was severely...
I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to feel bad. It's like I be trying to, like, you know, for the camera, I know I ain't watching no damn ghost video, but no. But it's just like, dog, they was even telling you in the comments, and this doesn't even require hindsight. It's like, you can see this from a mile away, like, dog, nothing about this is smart. And on top of that, you going like under prepared. Stop playing.
Around 10,000 feet. Number 5. Dean Smith. In June of 2016, an Australian man was severely injured at a museum after running straight into a wall while racing a virtual athlete. Melbourne's Science Works Museum had a special installation in which visitors could attempt to beat a digital version of track legend Cathy Freeman in a race. In the interactive display, a series of images depicting Freeman would sequentially light up to mimic her speed. Visitor Dean Smith, who was in his early 40s, accepted the challenge. Unfortunately, Smith got a little overzealous in racing the digital gold medalist. As a result, he plowed headfirst into the wall at the end of the exhibit. The man was rushed to the hospital, where doctors told him he'd been millimeters away from becoming a paraplegic. He'd crushed a vertebra, fractured an occipital bone, and broken a rib. Smith also suffered a stroke from a crushed vertebral artery meant to supply blood to his brain. He was unable to work in the incident's aftermath. Smith eventually sued the museum.
I was about to say, I don't really call this one stupid. I mean, it's still his fault, but it's not really stupid. He was playing the damn game, the virtual reality shit, running, boom, and he just happened to couldn't stop, I guess, and hit a wall, or whatever. It's like, damn.
Blood to his brain. He was unable to work in the incident's aftermath.
Did he at least
Smith eventually
win?
sued the museum, claiming that the inadequate lighting had prevented him from seeing the wall until it was too late.
Yeah, I don't really put him on the
Air
stupidity
freshener
list.
explosion.
Hold on, I gotta add. Dog, it's crazy how the world moving, dog. You know how we gotta talk about some shit. One thing I was thinking of was what is hella crazy to me. So I got the little mini Super Nintendo, whatever. I play games, y'all know that. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna load some new games in this bitch because I be modding mine. So I be putting hella games on mine. And I was like, it's crazy to know that as a kid, remember having a Super Nintendo, dog. I had to go rent a game, play the snot out that mug. I know this ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but it's just I was watching this and I was like, man, life just advanced. Like, it's freaking crazy, dog. But I was like, I used to have to rent a game, play that mug, take it back, because we couldn't afford to buy one of them mugs. And I was like, now it's to the point where every game I ever wanted on Super Nintendo, even the ones that's in another country, I could just go through my computer, put them on there, because I just play them. Because I can play it up here, but whatever. Shit. Fuck you looking at.
In 2019, a driver narrowly avoided death following a massive explosion that he triggered inside his car. The incident occurred in the town of Halifax in the United Kingdom. While in stationary traffic, the unnamed driver used an excessive amount of aerosol air freshener inside his car, even though it's general knowledge that the contents of such products are highly flammable. The man then lit up a cigarette. The ensuing blast was powerful enough to shatter the vehicle's windows, buckle its entire frame, and even damage the windows at nearby businesses. The driver was extremely fortunate, as he'd only escaped with minor injuries.
I know.
Number 3.
I was having a hard time. I'm thinking he didn't die. What the fuck you spray that much for? Hit the weed. Boom, God! Not cool, dog.
Extremely fortunate.
Thank goodness, bro. All right, dog.
Minor injuries. Number 3. Aaron DeBella. In September of 2018, near Hull in Massachusetts, 21-year-old Aaron DeBella died after attempting to do a handstand on the bulwark of a cruise ship. DeBella and a few of his friends were on the cruise celebrating a birthday. He'd reportedly thought it would be funny to pretend that he was hanging off the side of the ship. The crew had spotted him attempting the dangerous stunt and told him to stop. DeBella initially complied, but about an hour dangerous stunt, pretend that he was hanging off the side of the ship. The crew had spotted him attempting the dangerous stunt and told him to stop. DeBella.
So you even had a heads up to what the fuck? I get it. Some people like that adrenaline, that rush, I should say, whatever. They live on the edge a little bit. I get it. But I mean, there's some kind of prizes that come with that shit. Hey.
The crew had spotted him attempting the dangerous stunt and told him to stop. DeBella initially complied, but about an hour later tried to do the handstand again. On his second attempt, the young man lost his balance and fell over.
Rest in peace, dog.
Thrown in his direction, while a crew member jumped in the water and got within a few feet of him. Unfortunately, he didn't reach DeBella in time, and he drowned. Today's topic was requested by Paranova and Maurizio Martinez.
And they still did their job trying to save you. That's what's up. I'd have got fired that day.
Today's topic was requested by Paranova and Maurizio Martinez. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. French kings and door lintels. 2 French kings died under similarly avoidable circumstances several centuries apart. Louis III ruled West Francia in the late 9th century. The young king's reign, which only lasted about 3 years, was cut short by an accident involving a horse, a girl, and a door lintel. 17-year-old Louis was promenading through the Parisian commune of Saint-Denis, which was at the center of his realm. A girl caught his eye, and as she headed towards her home, Louis mounted his horse to pursue her. As he was following the girl, he didn't notice a door lintel and hit his head on it. The impact threw Louis from his horse and he fell, breaking his skull. Over 600 years after his death, Charles VIII of France suffered a similar fate. He was going to watch a match of...
See, this shit be tripping me out, dog. This is why I be trying to get out my head. Charles is always such an important name. It always sounds like a really important name to me. It just sounds like... It always sounds like royalty, but even like an old man and shit. But the shit that be tripping me out, dog, Like every time I be seeing like Charles, especially like old ones, they be having like big noses. And I'm like, dog, what if low key, not even being funny, dog? I'm dead ass serious. What if low key, like, but real talk though, not trying to, I'm drifting off whatever. But I always be wondering that, dog, because all these Charleses be having these damn noses, boy. Fuck you looking at? All right, we're back on topic.
He fell, breaking his skull. Over 600 years after his death, Charles VIII of France suffered a similar fate. He was going to watch a match of jeu de paume, which is an early version of tennis. On the way, Charles accidentally hit his head on a door lintel, sustaining massive cranial trauma. As he returned from the match, he abruptly fell into a coma and died several hours later. Number 1.
Was that before you? You know what, my great-great-great-grandma? Stop playing, I don't know. But yeah, I'm just ranting at this point. Video over anyway.
Died several hours later.
I don't know what a door lintel is either.
Cosnan.
Might as well tell you.
In 2018, a Malaysian man was strangled by a python that he was attempting to take home on his motorbike. 35-year-old Zaim Cosnan, who is described as unemployed, spotted the 12-foot-long
Stop doing that shit!
And decided to capture it, believing he would be able to sell it. Cosnan.
Wait, is that his name? Is that what he said?
Cosnan, who is described as unemployed, spotted the 12-foot-long serpent on the side of the road and decided to capture it, believing he would be able to sell it. Cosnan used gloves and a sickle to handle the python. He then drove away while holding it by its head. It wasn't long before the python started constricting him, thus causing Cosnan to crash his motorbike. The animal continued to coil around Cosnan, and he eventually succumbed to its powerful squeeze. A passerby spotted him the following day with the snake still wrapped around his lifeless body.
Damn!
Thanks for watching. What's the dumbest item or event that you've ever spent money on? Let us know in the comments section below.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started, dog. I mean, I went through that damn high school phase where you had to be cool and have all this dope shit. You know how much stupid stuff I bought? Oh my gosh, dog. To the video though. So I'm not gonna lie to you. The snake one, I effed up. I get it. He was unemployed. He was trying to get some money. He was trying to sell the python. It just wasn't a good way to go about it. I wouldn't say. I probably would say stupid, but still, it was on a lighter scale. I'll say that. And then, bro, with the video game, like I'm not giving him that one. I'm not giving him that title because I can legit see me in a VR room, whatever, playing like, yeah, I'm running. And those rooms do be dark when you go in those type of things. And I just run. I'm running fast, trying to prove a point. Like, yeah, I'm ready. Ah! And I just go right, boom, into a wall. Like, man, come on, dog. You gotta have like the X to stop at least like really far away, or have someone at the end like stop. It's just a video game, nigga. You ain't really racing. And I ain't gonna lie, the most craziest one though was the very first one, which was on the thumbnail. That the freaking snake in the church and everything. And he was like, yeah, I can turn these mugs to chocolate. Why would I eat a chocolate snake? I'm sorry, y'all, mom.